Just ahead on American Black Journal, getting out the vote. Detroit NAACP President Reverend Wendell Anthony is here to talk about the importance of going to the polls next month. Plus, Wayne County offers expert advice on growing your business. American Black Journal starts now.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
For nearly 100 years, Ally has been a part of Detroit, and we give back by volunteering and donating in our community. We have a commitment to diversity and increasing economic mobility in our hometown. At Ally, we're dedicated to doing it right every single day.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. On November 6th, Michigan residents are going to select a new governor, decide where the marijuana will be legalized for recreational use, and elect several state and federal lawmakers. It's a very important midterm election, and the Detroit branch of the NAACP wants to make sure Detroiters get out and vote. They've launched the Take Your Souls to the Polls campaign to increase voter turnout. Joining me now to talk about these efforts is Detroit NAACP President Reverend Wendell Anthony. It's always good to have you on the show.
Always good to be with you, Stephen.
Yes.
Appreciate you. I wore my blue jean suit because it's time to get to work, man.
That's
and
right.
we're going to be in the
Blue
street
collar,
and
blue
community,
collar, right?
so we're ready to go. Absolutely.
That's right.
So, yes.
So midterms are when we usually have the hardest time
Yes, sir.
convincing people it's still important
Yes,
to
sir.
vote. Detroit, we have a harder time convincing people to vote than in other places. You have your work cut out for you.
Absolutely. Let me just say that. Let me ask three questions to you and to the audience that's looking and listening to us. Number one, what good is having a voice if you don't use it? Number two, what good is having a vote if you don't exercise it? Number three, what good is having freedom if you don't protect it? Take your souls to the polls and vote. We need people to come back and get engaged. We need people to understand that every election is critical, but this is even more critical. That's why we've launched the campaign. We've been doing it, and Stephen, I'm just pleased to say that not only are we doing it in Detroit, but folk in Alabama and in Washington, D.C., in New York, and South Carolina, North Carolina, have adopted our Take Your Souls to the Polls program. That comes out of the Detroit branch NAACP. So whenever you hear people talking about souls to the polls, take your souls to the polls and vote, that's Detroit, Wendell Anthony, Detroit NAACP.
Wow.
Now, we started yesterday going to areas, east side, west side, knocking on doors, and I brought my sheet because I want to make sure I get it right. And zip codes 48237, 48203, 48234, 48235, 48202, and 48215. High voter registration, low voter turnout.
Yeah.
A lot of people just turned off from voting, period, Stephen, and we cannot allow people to do that.
Yeah.
This is too critical. You've seen the ballot. You know all the issues. It's a long ballot, so y'all don't be discouraged. Take your ballot, flip it over from the top, from the beginning on the front side to the back side. You got to vote the partisan area, and then you got to vote the proposals. You got to vote the judges. You got to vote for those things that really make a difference in your day-to-day life. So we say if you need information, if you need assistance, call us at 313-871-2087. We can get you to the poll for voter protection. If there's anybody that's interfering with you, we want to know that. We got lawyers. We got people that are ready to sue people and to take your butt to jail if, in fact, you get in the way of folk exercising their rights. This is too critical, Stephen, and you know the issues that are on the line.
Yeah. It's also true that we've got not just these issues, but if you think about the results that we've had in recent elections, 2 years ago, we had 20,000 people fewer show up in Detroit than showed up in 2012.
Yes.
Look what happened. Michigan goes for Donald Trump instead of for Hillary Clinton, right?
Please don't remind me.
I feel like this issue gets more and more critical with every election.
But one of the things that I take heart in, the numbers seem to be up. The enthusiasm is up. One of the best things that 45 has done is to inspire people to want to make a change. And the fact that he does something, every day you wake up and wonder, what in the world has he done now? What is he going to do? This is the President of the United States. And so we're simply saying that as that trickles down, as people wrap themselves in a flag of Donald Trumpism, that inspires our electorate. But more important than that, it's about health care. It's about education. It's about protecting your basic fundamental rights. It's about ending voter suppression and oppression. It's about all those things that you believe in. It's about protecting people in the media. The fact that we got a Washington Post journalist who was killed, and the President of the United States is really, in my opinion, protecting the people that did it is unconscionable, when he has gone on record as saying that the press, this is the enemy of the people. We cannot abide that. And so people that wrap themselves in that, they're a suspect. But even more important than that, Stephen, we got marijuana on the ballot. We got promoting the vote on the ballot. We got Wayne County Community College District on the ballot. We got ending gerrymandering on the ballot, which is when we vote. In various districts, we're losing based upon the way these lines are drawn. People thinking that if they pass this marijuana piece that I can be driving down the street and getting high. No, you can't do that. It's going to have a negative impact on our children. It's going to increase your car insurance. Check the record out. Be very clear about this. And the fact we need to protect our vote. This is not trick-or-treat politics. This is not Halloween. You know, Halloween, Steve, they say trick-or-treat. But folk have been getting the treats while we get the tricks. They get the tricks, and we don't want that. We want this to be straight up clear so that our people can vote, protect it, and it means something.
One of the other things that is going to change voter experience in Detroit is the fact that we don't have straight ticket this time for the first time in a really long time.
And why don't we have that?
And we have that long ballot.
And we have that. And because somebody in Lansing, the boys, made a decision, well, this is the way we can eliminate and reduce the vote. And they're counting on you to be discouraged by that. They're counting on you to be frustrated by having to stand in line and to exercise your choice. Don't be discouraged. Don't turn around. If it rains, if it snows, get out and take your souls to the polls. They're counting on you not to vote. They're counting on you to say, it's too long, I'm going home. They're counting on Stephen Henderson to say, the hell with this, I'm not going to, can I say hell on?
Yeah, you can say.
Okay, it's in the Bible.
You're good.
So what I'm simply saying, they're counting on you to be discouraged. I'm simply saying, don't go for the okie doke. Don't go for Halloween. This is not trick or treat. Don't go for the hypocrisy. Go for and vote for the democracy.
I think it's Proposal 3 on the ballot, the voter access provisions. That's really important to people in Detroit as well. Think of all the things, automatic registration, late voting. We're in the dark ages in Michigan in terms of the way we handle those things. Southern states, in some cases, are leapfrogging us.
And why should Michigan be one of the last states to come into the 21st century? You know, Stephen, this is America. This is supposedly the land of the free and the home of the brave. We are the model for the entire world.
Supposed to be, right?
People look at our Constitution and look at what we do. We send people all around the world to say, this is how you do it. And look at us. We should be doing everything we can to increase the vote, not to suppress it. Look at what they're doing in North Dakota with Native Americans, saying that if you don't have a certain street address, then you can't vote. Well, on the reservations, they don't have that, and they know that. They're trying to reduce the vote. Look at what they have done in Georgia. 53,000 people, 70% of whom are African Americans, may not be able to vote based on this bogus law that they've passed to say that, well, if Wendell Anthony spells his name W-E-N-D-E-L-L, and for some reason it's W-E-N-D-A-L-L, he can't vote. Now, what is that about? And 70% of them are African Americans. Same kind of situation, suppressing the vote in Wisconsin, in Indiana, and Ohio. America, you're wrong. We can do better than that. And we're simply saying that we must match our determination by their indignation and intimidation. We must take our souls to the polls. We're asking people to come out and work with us. We're going to be doing this on October the 27th, every Saturday from 12 until 4. You'll see a big motorhome. You'll hear music. People will be walking the blocks, canvassing, knocking on doors, saying, please come back to the voting booth. We need you. We don't want people to think that they're not important because ain't nobody asked them to vote. We asking everybody to vote. We need you to vote. Your vote is your voice. If you don't vote, you ain't got no business. If you don't like what we're doing, you start something. We'll help you to do it. But by all means, take your souls to the polls and vote.
You also need help.
Absolutely.
Doing this. I mean, we used to see a lot more money flow into local organizations to help, and we don't have any more. And so you need people to volunteer.
And I would say, and thank you for raising that, Stephen, we do need people to volunteer. You can call 313-871-2087 or go to DetroitNAACP.org, our website, sign up. We can put you in the mix. The other thing is this. People have an interest in their civic responsibility and do this. You can't pay for that with money. If you lose your vote, if you don't exercise it, if you go back to the time period in which we did not vote, then you're giving up your, I'm not going to say it, your whole card.
Right.
You're giving up the best card that you have. Right. And what we do want to do is we want to eliminate the Trump card. And we want to make sure that we exercise our choice, because that card is a card that's saying your vote should not matter. Let's do everything we can to stifle your vote, and we don't want to do that, Stephen. And I'm saying this, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or you don't know what you are. Take your souls to the polls and vote, and you can call us to volunteer, young and old, and we'll come and see you.
I imagine we will see the numbers go up this time, as you said, because
they're going up.
The president.
Absolutely.
But we got to stay focused on it, because there's a couple weeks left, and people tend to get comfortable.
We only have about 18 more days left. We cannot get comfortable. We must not be so comfortable. We must be sick and tired of being sick and tired, just like Fannie Lou Hamer said. Don't go for the trick-or-treat politics. I know Halloween is coming up. Don't give them the treats while they give us the trick. Take off the costume. The costume covers up democracy and hypocrisy. We want the democracy. We don't want the hypocrisy. That's why you got to get out there and vote. And we're glad that American Black Journal, which has been on the case over 50 years, is still on the case, trying to raise the consciousness of people to understand that you have a stake in your own life and in your own freedom and in your own ability to improve the quality of your life. Right. So, Stephen, we're excited, and we know we're going to make a difference.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. In 3 weeks, right?
3 weeks, and that's a short time period. Take your souls to the polls. Call 313-871-2087. Go to DetroitNAACP.org. We need you and your family, your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle. If they in your house eating, they should be voting. If they ain't voting, they got to go somewhere else. God bless you.
All right. Reverend Wendell Anthony, it's always great
Steve.
to have you here.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, absolutely. Just ahead, a one-stop shop to help businesses reach the next level. But first, we continue our look back at this program over the last 50 years. Here's a 1989 Detroit Black Journal interview with Irma Henderson after her failed bid to become mayor of Detroit.
When you criticize the media and its role in the campaign, what do you feel can be done about that?
Well, I think, first of all, the people are going to have to wake up and take more of an active interest in campaigns and elections, or else we will be facing something closer to a dictatorship in our country. I don't mean it just in the city of Detroit. I'm talking about across this country. We have elected two presidents by almost a minority vote. And here in the city of Detroit, we've done almost a carbon copy of that same thing. This was a very small vote compared to the amount of people registered. As a matter of fact,
actually the turnout was larger, I think, than in recent years in Detroit.
Except for my own vote. I've always had a high vote compared to the other votes. But I think that we've got to realize that if we don't get over our apathy and get out and take an active interest in what's going on, we will never control our own destiny.
Wayne County wants to help you grow your business. The county's Economic Development Corporation and Business Resource Network are hosting an event to provide information to business owners who want to locate or expand in Wayne County. Attendees can network with county businesses, learn about financing options, and get help recruiting and training employees. Wayne County Executive Warren Evans is going to deliver the keynote address. Here to tell us more is Wayne County's Director of Economic Development, Khalil Rahal, and the event's MC, Mark Lee, President of the Lee Group. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so great idea. We need more businesses in Wayne County. We need to grow businesses in Wayne County. Let's get everybody together and talk about how that can work.
That's right. I mean, this is really rooted in the county executive's philosophy of giving back to small businesses. You know, small businesses are the backbone of our economy. We have 43 municipalities in Wayne County, and small businesses tend to add to the flavor of each individual community, right? They're oftentimes from that community or inherited the business and grew up in that community, and they're likely to give back or take care of their neighborhood. And so the idea was, you know, why can't we get them all into a room and provide them with a lot of access to a lot of free resources that they may not know that exist to help their business stay healthy, grow, and expand? And that's what the event's really all about.
Talk about some of the things that the county does to help businesses start up in Wayne County or grow.
Yeah, so we have services internally at the county, services that'll help you with permitting or health choice or site selection. We also have a lot of partners that we work with on the outside that'll help you with financing, marketing, import, export advice, or maybe sometimes the best advice is to say, you know, maybe that's not the right idea. And so I think that can go a long way with businesses. The best part about this, I think, is this advice is free.
Yeah.
You know, oftentimes these resources are, you know, available to the bigger companies, right? And a lot of people don't think about a lot of the smaller companies that really fuel our economy.
Yeah. Mark, most of your work is focusing on small businesses, helping people get started. Talk about what that looks like right now in Wayne County.
Yeah, excuse me, I think, again, thank you very much. Wayne County is hot right now. And I'd like to tell the story that the city of Detroit itself has over 62,000 small businesses, according to the 2012 U.S. Census data. And the challenge is, and we have so many businesses are opening up daily, weekly, monthly in the city, but it becomes, and across the county as well, the challenge becomes how do we get them to focus on business sustainability? Give them the resources, so access to capital, networking opportunities, to help them to focus on business sustainability. So I think as we continue to grow, the challenge becomes, do they have access to all these resources to focus on growth?
Yeah, talk about some of the challenges that you hear small business owners talk about in Wayne County right now.
I still think the number one challenge is access to capital.
Yeah.
It's
Money.
Can you give me the money, please? Right. But what people don't realize is that you do have access to capital through traditional and non-traditional means of financing. Number two, and what's becoming interesting, Stephen, is that talent attraction is now becoming a challenge because certainly the economy is doing a bit better, and people are competing against the bigger companies for that particular capital base as well.
Talk about how you balance these concerns at the county level. The county also is involved with trying to attract big businesses to make large investments in the county. How do you prioritize, I guess, this versus that?
No, I think that's a great question. I think first and foremost, the county executive has made it very, very clear. We are going to focus our economic development efforts on businesses here that are already at home. And we're going to help those businesses grow.
Economic gardening is what the governor
Absolutely.
used to call that, right?
Sometimes it's called blocking and tackling.
Right.
And so that's going to be our main focus. But to your point, the county is actually involved in a lot of big projects. We're building a criminal justice complex. We're involved in the Hudson's and Monroe block and the train station and McLeod Steel and Eloise and all the things in Aerotropolis. And so this is a little bit different, this event this year than we have in the last 2 years. The one big difference about this event is that we're asking those partners of ours, the ones that were in those bigger developments, to have a seat at the table at this event to interact with smaller companies to see if they can be a part of those procurement processes. And I think that's going to be a help of balancing, as you mentioned, right? Because you need both. You can't have your philosophy rooted all in one and then not pay attention to the other, right? You have to kind of guard your flank everywhere. So.
It's also really important to do this, I feel like, right now, given the excitement that Mark talks about with investment in the city of Detroit, investment in Wayne County. It's not going to be like that forever. I feel like we got to take advantage of all of this activity and interest and make sure that we lift up people who wouldn't naturally, I guess, get fortified by all of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The country hasn't seen a 10-year uptick in the economy like this in its history.
Right.
Usually the economy works on 7-year cycles, and so people predict that eventually things will slow down.
It's got to cool off someday.
Yeah. Nobody knows when, nobody knows how. It's always the $40 million question, right? But what we think will happen is we think there'll be a soft landing. We think that gardening our sort of small business resource efforts, right, to make sure small businesses have a place to fall back on, because access to capital is a problem. But we look at this event in 3 different ways. You know, how do we lower your overhead? How do you help get financing? And how do we help grow your business? How do we find you a bigger customer base? And that's part of the procurement with, you know, having the Bedrocks and the Fords at the table, to have a table there to find out, you know, what opportunities may exist. Yeah. We have a ton of financing space at this event, and anywhere from, you know, the Fifth Third banks and PNCs to microloans. You know, some people can't get a loan for $1,500, $2,000, $2,500.
Right.
And that's a problem, right? And then the overhead costs. We have a lot of grant availabilities. We have a lot of workforce development programs. We have DESC and SUMCA at the table to help you. And we've got a lot of governments at the table too. So, I mean, I think the program is growing and it's doing very, very well.
And I think that's why this program is important. Number one, and I think Khalil's absolutely spot on, this is free.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many programs out in the city right now, but this program is free. How many times can you go to a free event and get access?
Get this kind of information.
Get all this information. Network and meet other people. But I want to go back to your point, too, about Detroit is hot under the spotlight. How long will this last? We're starting to see the spotlight shift to other cities across the country. And I think that we need to continue to capitalize on the hotness of this city, the hipness of this city when it comes to entrepreneurship, before that spotlight continues to slowly shift into other geographic regions across the country.
Growth, I feel like, is a different subject from establishment for businesses, right? What's the right time to decide that you should be bigger? How do you get the resources to do it? And then how do you do it in a way that it doesn't just completely plow the whole business under? How much focus do you think we need on that right now in Detroit and Wayne County, given all of the new economic activity that's happening?
I think we need to continue to focus on helping these businesses grow profitably, focus on, again, business sustainability, and ensure that these businesses have the appropriate plan on one hand. And then, you know, Wayne County, as Khalil knows, many people want to open a business here. Do they have the proper training and support to make that happen as well?
Yeah, I think you pose a really good question. And the question really comes down to, what's your horizon? Right? I mean, the horizon for Dan Gilbert is much further away than a new business. Right? And so the nice thing about this is we have an organization called the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center. They are housed right in the Guardian Building with Wayne County. They work with our folks, and their purpose is to provide you this sort of advice. They take a look at, you know, not just your finances, but your ideas, your philosophies, your customer base, and they try to do the best that they can to provide you free access to this kind of information, so you don't overextend yourself, or that you're taking the right risk. And measuring that is the key to really growing your business.
Yeah, it is. You mentioned the involvement of DESC. And let's talk about the employment picture and how it relates to this whole small business question.
Well, I mean, you know, talent is going to be king. It's going to be everything from small businesses to big businesses. There's no difference about that. Employment's going to be huge. You know, we have seen our employment numbers in Wayne County jump dramatically over the last few years, particularly since the county executive has been in office. We've seen jobs, investments, medium home incomes, construction permits. We issue construction permits. You should see the number of construction permits that are going up there. You know, when we came into office in 2015, we had to fix the finances. We had to fix the jail.
We were almost
bankrupt.
People forget that.
People forget that. But the nice thing is today we're working on a new problem, and that we have so much construction going on, we have a shortage of a workforce. And that is going to raise the cost of some of these things. You know, people look at Hudson's and Monroe Block. I will tell you, you know, average rent rolls in downtown Detroit is anywhere between $22, $24 a square foot, give or take. Average rent rolls in your Bostons or your Chicagos are $45 a square foot, but it costs the same to build a building in Chicago or Boston as it does in Detroit.
So your return is smaller.
Your return is smaller, and that's because we have a shortage of the workforce. You either got to fly people in or you got to train them up, and I think the great thing about this program is we have folks like DESC and SEMCA and other Michigan Works agencies at the table that can try to help small businesses either provide them with grants or provide them with applications.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations on the event and the work, and thanks for being here.
Great, thank you. One last thing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
October 25th.
Yes.
8:30 to 11.
All right.
At 21,000, the Wayne County Community College in the city of Taylor. We've got 500 attendees, or 500 people registered for this event.
And we'll put all that info on our website.
Thank you.
Too, so. All right. Thanks for being here. That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. Go to AmericanBlackJournal.org to get more information on our guests, and you can check out a calendar of upcoming events. Plus, you can always connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time.
As American Black Journal looks ahead at the next 50 years, we want to hear from you, the viewers. Tell us what you think of this program and what you'd like to see on future episodes. Visit AmericanBlackJournal.org to take a quick survey and share your opinion. Thank you.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
For nearly 100 years, Ally has been a part of Detroit, and we give back by volunteering and donating in our community. We have a commitment to diversity and increasing economic mobility in our hometown. At Ally, we're dedicated to doing it right every single day.